Hey, everybody.
From Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And this is Chris Lemon sitting in for Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to be wrapping up Pride Month, so to speak. We've kind of talked a lot about gay issues this whole month. Last week, specifically, we brought up some stuff, and we kind of wanted just to continue that discussion today with you, Chris. And, of course, maybe you noticed, but there were hopefully no ads. If everything worked correctly, there were no ads at the beginning of the show. That means that we've actually hit our first goal in our little pledge drive that we've been doing. Woo-hoo! It's so exciting. Which means that 1 out of 4 shows will now be ad-free. So if you do hear any ads, we've turned them off technically. So please let us know if you do hear an ad.
So what would the next level be, Frank?
The next level, if we get 24 more supporters, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later in the show, but as soon as we hit 24 more supporters, we will turn off ads in half the shows, half the episodes.
That's cool.
That's kind of how we decided to do that. So hopefully we get to this no ads thing real soon. But first, just to get the whole gay Pride Month theme going. I don't know if you heard about this, Chris, but Boston, Massachusetts has just approved a public event application and parade route for a straight Pride parade.
Oh, I did hear. Speakings of this.
The organizers of this event want to celebrate what they view as America's oppressed majority, the heterosexuals. They say that heterosexuals have languished in the shadows for decades, but we're not taking it lying down until an S is
what
added.
Are they going to do?
I don't know. Continue to control everything in the country? I don't know. But until an S is added to LGBTQ, etc., their pride will continue to be. Gay pride parades will continue to be a system of oppression designed to systematically erase straight people from existence. There's the polemicist
to erase them
Milo
from existence.
Yiannopoulos. Do you know this guy? The Breitbart douche.
Yeah. Is it
he
gay?
I believe. He seems gay.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Did he turn out to be gay?
But he's very conservative.
Yeah. Well, so he's going to be the Grand Marshal. So there does seem to be some attempt here to maybe sort of bait the left just a little bit.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, I guess. But yeah, the parade organizers, they're a group called Super Happy Fun America.
Huh.
And their slogan is, "It's great to be straight."
Get it. Go get it. But here's the thing. Why don't you just come to Gay Pride? It's more fun. I'll guarantee
totally
that.
More fun. This is going to be the most boringest.
What a drag without the drags. No, it sounds awful. But, Frank, just a question. Why? I mean, it's so stupid and it's so obvious, but like, how can they not see that there's a need for like a gay pride, right? But there's not a need for a straight pride. Right?
Well, but they want their special day.
Okay. But
they're jealous.
Every day is their special day, right?
I know, they have the rest of the year.
The whole dominant narrative is like, tailor-made for them, right?
But they're feeling left out.
It's
so sad.
Just come to our party.
These poor people. Yeah, we do throw better parties. Apparently the View... The View
yes.
on ABC or whatever. All 5 hosts, all co-hosts, and they sort of run the political spectrum. I think that's kind of part of their shtick, right? They all condemned this whole thing, and the organizers fired back with a statement calling their comments an act of literal violence that has endangered the lives of heterosexuals everywhere. Like they're just trolling. Well, this is a massive. trolling
it's a hate parade.
It is.
I mean, you call it what it is. It's fascism, and that's what it feels like. And that's okay. I'm sorry.
I think it's awesome. I want them to do it. I want it to be a sad, horrible affair.
But but also think about this. Like, there's a gay pride because it takes courage, right? Yeah. It takes courage to be an out LGBTQ plus person in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's several states where people can still be fired for just being homosexual.
Oh, yeah.
Or trans.
A lot of states.
Lots.
Most. Probably.
I don't know about most, but I think there's several.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And, you know, there's still countries where people are put to death for being gay. So
yeah.
And, you know, you don't... okay, I'll just leave it at that. What a bunch of idiots.
All right, what you got?
Oh, so mine is kind of fun, actually. Mm-hmm. In Germany, they're having a massive heat wave right now.
Oh, really?
Like record temperatures, and I guess people are just taking their clothes off left and right. So it's it's kind of become a problem.
Like taking all their clothes off.
Yes, and just being like doing things naked.
Doing their normal daily routine.
So, for example, in Brandenburg, Germany, the police actually do a Twitter account, and they put up a picture of a man riding a moped only in his helmet and his sandals. And
wouldn't his head get hot?
Probably. But they did do a hashtag on that said safety first and living on the edge. So, but then law enforcement in Germany did have to remind people that it is technically not illegal in Germany to go around with no clothes on, unless someone complains. So if someone complains, then you have to put your clothes back on.
How does it? Laws that are only triggered if somebody complains,
right?
Or not even laws.
I don't know.
It's not illegal.
It's kind of a guideline. Yeah. You're not going to get in trouble, but...
And then the police come around and they're just like...
Cover up your schlong, please.
Would you mind?
How do you say schlong in German? Isn't that German?
It's probably schlong.
Is there an umlaut?
I have no idea.
Okay. And then also, however, in the south of the country, in Munich, there were some female sunbathers who were topless.
Oh, no.
And 5 fully clad security men came up and forced them to put their bikini tops back on.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So apparently it might be different. I don't know if it's different from where Brandenburg is and where Munich is, or if the difference was just the guy on the moped was a man and these were women.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh. Interesting. But it's not illegal.
No. So. Well, good for them. I mean, that would never fly in this country.
No.
I mean, it would be shut down so fast. Like, what do you think would happen?
And why can men show their nipples but not women?
They're different.
Why? Because they're sexualized and objectified.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Well, I
interrupted you. You were saying in mid-sentence.
No, I'm good. This story starts with people who are the exact opposite from your story, right? The burkini-clad women in France, actually. And the story ends with a bunch of French nudists.
And we got to
get
the
ourselves
burkini.
there.
Just let me get a definition out of that. So it's just a burqa that you can wear into the water.
Well, when one thinks of a burqa, one imagines like the little screen over
in front
the
of the eyes.
Like you can't even see the woman's face. The burkini is sort of what they've sort of just started calling this. It's like it's a swimsuit that goes all the way down to the wrists. It's relatively form fitting. Like it's not like super tight like a regular woman's swimsuit, right? But it's not trying to like hide or conceal the shape of the woman at all. But and then it comes up and it does kind of a hijab hood that covers her hair and leaves her face completely fully exposed. So her hands are showing and her face are showing, and that's really about it. And it goes down to the ankles. I don't know if she can show her feet or not. Probably. I don't know.
She has to wear like webbed,
just like aqua socks or whatever they're called. But nonetheless, it's not the most offensive thing in the world. Like if I saw a woman in this, I'd be like, oh, Well, okay.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Who cares, right? Well, it offends the French. It offends their sensibilities entirely.
You know what? Years ago they were trying, and I think they actually were able to pass it in some places. They were trying to, and I think we've talked about this, but they were trying to ban Muslim women from covering their face or even wearing the hijab in places.
Yeah.
Hijab.
So the burkini. Here's what happened. The town, city, whatever, of Grenoble in southeastern France. It's sort of near the Alps, just to paint the picture of where it's at. They are also in the middle of a heat wave. 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Very, very hot. And so people are going and using the public swimming pools in large numbers. But the public baths have very sort of strict rules. The women have to wear a one-piece swimming costume that is close to the body, and men must wear Speedo-style trunks rather than shorts. This is just the rule. They say it's a hygiene issue, and there's also security reasons. Okay, fine.
Security reasons. That seems like a bit of a stretch.
It seems like a stretch.
The hygiene I actually get.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just
like board shorts are unhygienic.
No, I can see if you're making a rule about the pool that you don't want all this clothing in there. I guess because you don't know how it's been washed. You don't know. But I guess you could say that about swimsuits too. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a stretch.
Yeah. And so anyway, they have banned, they're not allowing these burkinis. So a group of Muslim women back in May, about 15 women, managed to enter the pool and film themselves bathing, saying that they had done so to defend freedom of religion.
Okay.
And I agree with that. Last Sunday they showed up again, and every single member of the group was fined €35.
Ooh.
And now, and they have this Facebook group, the Citizens Alliance of Grenoble, and this is this group of Muslim women. Now there is a rival Facebook group called, where did that one go? Everyone Naked. And so people are showing up
to the pool naked.
Well, they're going to have an event, and some 231 people have said that they are going to come naked, and about 1,300 people have expressed interest. And the town hall is unfazed. However, they have no intention of lifting the burkini ban. And this is the thing. Like, this is one of those things, right? Like, I don't get the real harm.
Yeah, I'm fine with the burkinis.
It's a minority group, right? And so
how
there's
does
not
it
even going to
really
be that
bother
many,
anybody?
It's not going to be that many people. But apparently this is some sort of slippery slope in a lot of people's minds.
What does it lead to?
Actually, next time, this is Amin El-Khatmi. She's the president of a secularist group.
I'm sure you got her name
beautifully
spot
done. Secularist group, Republican Spring. She says, these are not poor Muslim moms wilting in the heat, but political militants at work. Next time it will be, we want to book the whole pool because we can't bathe with others. But that's not what they're asking to do.
No, they're not.
And if they ask to do that, and that's not something that's normally done, then you say no.
Right.
But in the meantime, a slippery slope, it's not a slippery slope.
No.
This is an okay thing. This is fine.
All of their reasons for wanting to ban the burkini are bogus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, honestly, I don't see why it's bothering anybody.
Yeah. Well, these women,
it's racism.
These Muslim women are they're claiming that they are the Muslim Rosa Parks of France. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. I got a good one.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom, Wimbledon. Mm-hmm. So a woman there, a 76-year-old woman, had to be removed from court last Wednesday, so Wednesday the 26th. Because well, first of all, let's talk about, before I talk about why she was kicked out of court, let me talk about why she was put on trial in the first place.
Okay.
So it turns out that she has been harassing her upstairs neighbor, the woman who lives directly above her, a woman named Samantha Ginsburg. And so the 76-year-old woman named Lenora Josephs has been convinced that her upstairs neighbor is a witch. Yes, you heard it correctly. So she has started several harassing type behaviors recently, like she will shout, "You're a witch."
She's so subtle
and
clever.
I guess there's been incantations, like she'll, yes, you heard correctly. So she'll shout with her son. They will shout up through the ceiling.
What would you do?
Samantha must burn. Samantha must burn.
No.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Death by fire. Death by fire. Yes. So, and then they were also taking it out into the community. So it gets a little more complex. So once again, the 76-year-old woman Lenora with her son Mark have been harassing this mother and her 7-year-old daughter. Okay. Now, this woman, Lenora, is also convinced that the upstairs neighbor's 7-year-old daughter is a witch.
Oh, boy.
Because she acts differently. Okay. Turns out the child has autism.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
She's a witch.
Yes.
Clearly
so,
a witch.
Also has been talking about burning the child and following them around.
This is...
And Mrs. Josephs believes that a spell cast on her from Samantha has left her partially paralyzed. And
so is what really like clued her in to this whole thing, cued her into the whole thing, the fact that the woman's name is Samantha.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh, Samantha.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I'm twinkling my nose right now. That's funny, Frank. I really like that one.
Well, thank you.
She's a witch. I was just watching Bewitched.
Yeah.
On TV. In fact, speaking of the TV.
Yeah.
So the downstairs neighbors would turn their TV to the God channel. I guess it's called God TV in Britain. And whenever they heard her come home, and they'd turn it up at full volume. I guess it was very loud.
This poor woman.
At all hours of the night, they would do this. They would chant. Oh. The prosecutor said that she's been shouting incantations from the Bible, death by fire, calling for angels to slay her. They had last September, she had reported this harassment to the police in Wimbledon, and they hadn't really done anything until recently. So it's finally now going in front of the magistrates.
That's amazing.
So in court last Wednesday, she was yelling, "You're a witch. You will face justice. You're a witch." It gets better. And then the son, I guess, in court, he was speaking about how they feel like the family has, that they're the victims here, and that everybody, because they're born-again Christians, I forgot to mention that little detail. But
surprise.
They are born-agains. And so that he's calling what's happening to them spiritual warfare. So the reason why Mrs. Ginsburg, not Mrs. Ginsburg, but Mrs. Josephs was kicked out of court last Wednesday was because she kept muttering, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus," in court while Samantha was giving her testimony. And the judge gave her like 3 warnings and then said, "We're kicking you out." So the judge kicked her out. Mrs. Josephs turns to the judge and says, "God be your judge." And then, I guess, turns to Samantha and says, "Jesus, kill her."
Oh my God.
Kicked out of court.
That's
but the trial
horrible.
continues. So there you have it.
Well, we're going to go from Uncle Arthur to the TV show Arthur on PBS. Did you hear about this, Chris? There was a gay wedding? Yeah. Cute little Arthur. I don't know. What animal are they? They've got little ears and cute
are they
little
hamsters?
faces. I don't know what they are, but they're adorable.
Hedgehogs?
Right? And anyway, it's a little animated series for children.
It's been on forever.
It's been on for 22... This is their 22nd season.
You see, that was the thing when everybody was... There were people that were up in arms about this.
Yeah.
And my response was, Arthur's still on the air?
Isn't this just a rerun from the 90s? No, it's not. It's a beloved children's show. And so the character's teacher, Mr. Ratburn, married another man on the show. And this was kind of a big deal, and it's kind of a cool thing, and PBS is, as conservatives have long suspected, is just where it's just
it's a den of lefties,
government subsidized leftist television, right?
Propaganda.
And Representative Doug Lamburn of Colorado, Republican from Colorado.
Oh, he's
Colorado.
a Republican.
He represents
He has a
Colorado
problem with this.
Springs.
Oh,
surprise! He's buying none of it. He does not think that, or he does not accept this at all. This is bullshit. This is wrong, and he's seeking to completely 100% end government funding
for PBS.
Of PBS.
Oh, wow.
And for whatever reason, I don't know what they did wrong, also NPR. Maybe because they spoke positively of it. I have no idea. Basically, he's somebody who just hates public media.
Right.
NPR, one of the finest, news organizations, NPR News, in the country, as far as like its ability to
pretty
also,
centrist, right?
It's pretty centrist, but it's crazy leftist liberal nonsense because it's not crazy fucking conservative.
Because it's not Fox News.
Right. In their mind.
Right.
He says that this episode of Arthur is evidence that PBS is, quote, offensive to many conservatives and religious taxpayers. Enough is enough, he wrote on his congressional webpage. PBS has offended many conservatives and religious taxpayers who do not want the children inculcated with liberal viewpoints on sensitive topics. Let's bring an end to forcing Americans to subsidize media programming that is unconstitutional. Well, then
so he's
let's
talking
stop
about
subsidizing your
people.
stupid fucking churches.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I 100% agree with that.
Right. Like,
but
we're subsidizing your church. Your church is okay,
and you can
That's
say
fine. Fuck you.
Yeah, and you can have "In God We Trust" on your fucking license plate.
Yeah.
No,
fuck you, and drive like a idiot. That was your thing.
It's true. No, I mean, I'm
watching.
I know.
Chris.
I will stand by. I stand by that statement. You drive more like an asshole if you have that "In God We Trust" license plate.
I am terrified on my bike when I see
an
"In God We Trust"
Get
license
ready.
plate. Oh golly, I'm gonna get.
They do what they want.
Yeah, they do, because that's who they are.
I go now.
Yeah. Anyway, apparently there's let's see. Oh, in his statement, he also mentions the national debt, which he said is over $22 trillion. I haven't confirmed that number, but sounds about right.
Okay.
Right. We'll accept your premise, sir. $22 trillion.
Sir.
He then says that his legislation would save the government $455 million a year. I'm actually surprised it's that much money that the government gives to PBS.
Wow.
But the Corporation for Public
I think they should be giving them more.
But anyway.
I mean, how much is a fighter jet?
Guess what the percent? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
guess
so
what the percentage?
maybe just stop. This year we're just going to not do 2 fighter jets. Let's just say that.
Right.
Okay.
But here we go, Chris.
I know. Sorry.
Here's the big question. $445 million a year. What percentage is that of 22 trillion?
Oh, dude, I got a C in statistics. I'm not playing this game.
0.00002%.
How many zeros was that before the 2?
4. It was a point, 4 zeros, and a 2% of the national debt. So yeah, you're really working on the national
saving
debt,
us a lot of money.
And you're going to cut funding for Arthur?
Yeah.
The cutest show? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Teletubbies? I mean, it's BBC, but we help.
Right.
PBS helps pay for that.
Yeah.
Giant licensing fees.
Frank, you're upset about this one.
I am upset.
What?
I mean, no. Is the
Why?
Teletubbies even still on?
First of all, fuck censorship. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, right now, I'm in the middle. I need to know how Les Miserables ends.
Oh.
Is
that on PBS?
It's on PBS right now.
How is it?
Masterpiece.
I love Masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
Dominic West
as Daddy.
No kidding.
Is he Jean Valjean?
He's Jean Valjean.
Who's Javert?
Some guy.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Handsome?
Not bad.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But it's
really
not
about
a musical.
Dominic West.
It is not a musical.
No, they have not sung anything yet.
I can't.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Nobody-
it's a faithful retelling, as far as I can remember from freshman year of high school reading.
Because you read the book.
Les Miserables in high school.
You read it.
Yeah.
I read the Cliff Notes.
Oh.
I really did. Remember those yellow Cliff Notes? I read those.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You got the main points.
And I listened to the musical.
You know who all the characters are? Fantine.
Yeah. But you know, if I could not watch that musical now. I just couldn't. When I was in high school, yeah, it was fun. But
Les Mis.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that. Okay, yeah.
What did you think I was talking about?
Didn't they do one with like the Australian guy and
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
I love Russell Crowe. Don't talk shit on him. I know. Everybody makes fun of me. I love him.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
The Gladiator, like your favorite movie.
I really do like him, and you really just gave me such a nasty look about it. Now everybody out there knows that I'm sorry.
You're out, Chris.
Well, you know what? Okay, that may be shocking for some, but then my next story is quite shocking.
All right, let's hear it.
My next story, so I don't know where to begin. Okay, here's where I'm going to begin. So, in Jacksonville, Florida, an LGBTQ event for youth has been canceled. It was 100 students had been signed up for what was being called the Storybook Pride Prom.
Oh.
So it was a prom that was going to happen at a library in Jacksonville, Florida.
Cool.
So the library was hosting, an LGBTQ prom for these kids. Yeah. It was at the Willow Branch Library in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
And it was supposed to happen just this past Friday, the 28th.
Okay.
The Eventbrite invitation had said for the 100 kids that had already signed up, said, come dressed inspired by your favorite book character. So they even kind of had a theme, right?
Yeah.
It was tying it into the library.
Yeah.
You can come casual, formal, or even in drag. So whatever makes you feel great, just come and be you. So that's what it was about. But now, enter a local mother known as the activist mommy. Elizabeth, the activist mommy Johnston. Not kidding.
Literally. This is like...
she has a blog, and there's been... Okay, so we know about her because in 2017, I guess, she got some internet notoriety because she was protesting sex ed in her school district, and said that they were just teaching kids anal sex. And then also in 2017, she had burned a copy of Teenage Vogue on the internet.
I agree with that one.
No! But she burned it because she said they were teaching kids anal sex.
Yeah, that's not why I would burn it.
Why would you burn it?
I don't know. Is that really are those the kind of images that you should be filling kids' heads with? I've never even seen a copy.
Well, you know that it's kind of taken this whole big liberal swing in the past couple of years.
I was literally just judging something I don't even know about.
Okay.
That is how much I judge.
That's how much you care about Teen Vogue. So, this woman, Elizabeth Johnston, activist mommy.
Yeah.
And she's the wrong kind of activist. She sucks. So she went onto her Facebook page and put the phone number of the library on her Facebook page. So basically, she's asking people to call in and threaten this event, which happened. They received hundreds of threatening messages.
Like what kind of threats?
Well, from what I understand...
Like violent threats?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes, violent threats.
Is that what she called for? Was
yes.
she like...
Yes. So she put, express your disgust that this perversion is taking place in a taxpayer-funded library, even though LGBTQ plus people do pay taxes.
Right.
For all those sensitive stomachs out there, I apologized for these graphic pictures. I guess she put up pictures of drag queens that were going to help be hosting the event.
Graphic.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Just pictures of drag queens.
That's
I selected
awful.
milder ones for you. If these perverts are going to come after your children, I have to expose this now, and I know it ain't pretty. So look at what Jacksonville, Florida taxpayers are paying for, featuring guest drag queen BB Deluxe. Call. Then she gave her phone number.
All right.
So yes, maybe not directly, but yes, she... Well, and whether...
People took it that way.
People took it that way. Yeah. And literally hundreds of threatening messages came into the library. And the library director had to cancel this event that was supposed to happen last Friday. It didn't take place.
No. So what did the kids do?
There's no other event planned.
This horrible woman.
Yeah. Yes. So the library director is named Chris Boivin. I want to say Bovine, but I don't think that's how you pronounce it. Boivin? Chris
Bouquet.
Boivin. The lady of the house speaking. And he was the director of community relations with the library. He said the prom was canceled because they couldn't guarantee safety or security for everybody who was going to be involved. And it just makes me really sad. So,
yeah, that sucks. Well,
so yeah.
All right. Well, if any of you out there are disgusted by that and have anything else you'd like to add to any of these stories that you've heard today, please give us a call. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Leave us a voicemail message. We're happy to play voicemails on the show. You can also email us. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com is the email address. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. There's also the members only lounge. Just search for it on Facebook. Request to join, and we will let you in. Hey, Chris.
Oh, hey, Frank.
I got a little clip here I want to play for you.
Is it fun?
It might make you mad. You might be infuriated after listening to this.
I do have a bit of a temper, you know.
Bill Mitchell. I don't know if you know the name or not.
Nope.
Your Voice America is the name of his show.
He sounds like he's a right-wing piece of shit.
He is a smarmy bastard, and I can't even really look at him. I avoid his clips. Dan will sometimes pick clips of this guy that he wants to play on the show. I can't even handle it.
What's your
This
version?
one's so good. He's so smug. Right? It's like, fuck you. You're being smug about...
So you hate him.
About being a big idiot, right? But anyway.
What's his name again?
Bill Mitchell. He has a guest on. The voice you'll be hearing is a woman by the name of Karen Turk. And they're talking about, there's these the allegations that came out this week from E. Jean Carroll. Mm-hmm. That Donald Trump had sexually assaulted her 2 decades ago.
Right.
So this is them talking about that, and I think this is something super worth.
And Miss Carroll, I believe she actually brings the number of people accusing Trump up to 22. So that there's been 22 women that, since he's taken office, that have accused him of sexual assault or impropriety. Yeah.
So keep that in mind while listening to this.
It's so obvious and so transparent to so many of us, especially women, that these stories really hold no credibility. It's unbelievable, but we live in such a litigious society. This not only happens to our president, this happens to other American businessmen every day. It happens, there's like a war on white men in this country. And unfortunately, it's being perpetuated by these leftist women that have books to sell and have a financial agenda. And they have these lawyers that prey on them that will just go forward with it. And it's all about making money and gaining fame. That's all this is about. There's zero credibility to this woman's story. I'll put money on it any day of the week, just like so many of them have come out before. And it's really a shame because you know who this hurts? This hurts real victims.
Right.
This hurts real victims of rape. This hurts real women. This hurts women who have a story to tell because then people don't listen to them and people don't take it seriously. And you want to know what? If any of these women gave one iota, one even ounce to care about other women, they wouldn't come out with these stories because they would care about the women that they're hurting, and it hurts real victims, and it infuriates me.
Yeah, yeah, it's terrible, and I don't understand what the Democrats strategy because you would think if they wanted to come out with a woman who apparently supposedly Donald Trump had was aggressive with sexually, something like that, they would pick a woman that you would say, okay, that's believable.
Like an attractive woman? Is that where you're going with this, Bill?
Yeah, right. I don't want to sound sexist by saying this, but but some of these women that come out, like in the Kavanaugh hearings and stuff like that, you look at them and it's like, and you saw pictures of her when she was a teenager, and I was like, it just doesn't seem plausible to me.
I just don't even care anymore. I don't even want to be politically correct on this topic anymore because I just don't care. These women are unattractive. Let's just call it for what it is. But you know what? Bill Clinton had no problem with unattractive women, so I guess the Democrats just know no different.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I didn't vote for Donald Trump to be my pastor, okay, or my spiritual guide. I voted for him to lead my country and to run this country like a business and to be a good, solid leader. And that's what he's doing, and that's what I'm happy about. And all this stuff from 30, 40 years ago, he put his arm around me, and it's I do not care.
This sexy headline sells.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time listening to that.
Yeah, I hate this guy.
There are so many levels, yeah.
It's war on white men. Should we start there?
War on white men.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I'm speechless, and that's a rarity for me. These two are just shits. They're fucking turds. They're Republican turds.
Well, shouldn't we discuss, that like these kind of like sexual aggression and rape? It's not about the sex, and it's not about whether the woman is attractive or not.
No, it's about power and control and fear.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about manipulation.
Yeah.
It's about power. It has nothing to do with someone's perceived attractiveness. And furthermore, that's like, a fucking subjective. That's something that's so subjective. And they don't know Donald Trump's type. They don't know what kind of girls get his engine running. Right. And furthermore, let me just remind everybody about that Inside Edition interview.
Yeah.
With Billy Bush.
Where he brags about this.
He talks about being a sexual assaulter. He talked about sexually assaulting, grabbing women by the pussy. That is sexual assault. Yes. He talks about how people let him do it. So we can't be surprised, really, that now 22 women have come forward saying that Donald Trump has either sexually assaulted them or acted sexually inappropriate with them.
Yeah.
It's victim blaming. It's fucking disgusting. It has no place in American society. And then go.
I love this whole thing of like, and this devalues the real victims, right? Oh yeah, you're obviously a real victim advocate, like lady.
Yeah,
right. Like, oh yeah, you care about women who've been sexually assaulted. You clearly don't.
Well, how
because
could she?
Here's 22 women.
If she
admitted
that there's a
sexual
war on
predator, right? An admitted sexual predator, and then people come out and actually are like, yeah, I was one of the women that he, grabbed by whatever, right? Shocked? Surprised? You're going to try to, like, deny it? Mm-hmm. You're going to try to, like, deflect this?
Right. We all
nothing
heard
to
that.
deflect.
We all heard that. Yeah. But then there was something that Bill Mitchell said that was really even more gross to me. Was, I don't know about more gross, but it was equally gross.
Yeah.
Was then he was talking about how he didn't vote for President Trump for his morals. He
to be
didn't.
his pastor.
He didn't vote for him to be his clergy.
Right.
He voted for him to lead the country. But so that is right there is proof that guy doesn't think he has morals. It's proof that they actually kind of believe that he did this shit.
Yeah. Oh no, they totally do.
They're being fucking apologists.
Yeah.
So for him to be like, I didn't, it excusing his amorality, and I'm sorry, we do have morals in society, right? And by what I'm not moralizing things, but it's immoral to sexually assault women. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not worth justifying, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Let's move on.
Yeah, Bill Mitchell, you suck a dick. You can suck a dick.
All right. Let's do some emails. Let's see. This one, I mean, actually, I thought this would be a good one to read with you, Chris.
Okay.
This is the kind of work that you're getting into. Hello, Frank and Dan. Several months ago, you had a discussion related to addiction and the dearth of recovery programs for the non-religious. There was mention of the something anonymous programs that included the reliance on God to shepherd one through the process. I was listening to my local NPR affiliate this morning and learned of one in Cleveland called Bion, Believe It or Not. They welcome the religious, including Wiccan, as well as atheists. I thought I would share. Respectfully, Tristan. Thank you. That's cool. And if you're in the Cleveland area, and that's a good tip if you have a substance abuse problem you're trying to deal with. But there are others out there. This is a thing that it comes up from time to time, and I always feel like it's worth talking about because the big one, AA,
right?
One of the steps, right?
Yeah, I believe it's step 3. Let me double check.
It's admitting that there's
a power greater than yourself,
greater or something than that.
Actually,
I've heard some people with their little workarounds for that and how they kind of wriggle through that. But there's a lot of, isn't there even like a lot of praying and whatnot at meetings? And don't they have like a prayer?
There's a serenity prayer, and
serenity
it does
prayer.
talk about God.
And so like if that's something that's not for you, but do you know of other programs? Is there something called like rational recovery or something?
Yeah, there are different modalities that you could. I mean, if you are struggling with substance use, first of all, I don't want to discount AA because it works for people, and you're right, exactly. Some people get around that whole higher power component. I know one person that used a doorknob as a higher power. I don't know how effective it is.
It keeps you out when you're not supposed to be in.
But also, I mean, really, if you want to interpret that as like your intelligence, your wise brain, some people call it, there are different modalities that you could work through with a therapist. But kind of depending on where one sits with substance abuse, kind of also depends on what therapies and modalities would probably be best. But like, for example, there's one called ACT, A-C-T, which is all about meditation and staying away from avoidance, accepting what's happened to you, accepting the present moment. But, no. And what's crazy is AA has a pretty good success rate too. But also, have you heard anything about ketamine? I don't know much about it.
I know heard a little bit about ketamine.
I know that people are taking it, microdosing with it, and it's doing wonders for depression and substance abuse.
Really?
But also, here's what I believe, and this is just my personal belief. Granted, I believe that addiction is real, but I also... And I have some anecdotal evidence for this too, but I believe that a lot of reasons for that people use substances is because they're not dealing with core issues, that are happening. And being human is hard. It's fucking hard.
Right.
And we all have, traumas. We all do. We all have traumas that we're holding on to, and we're all trying to cope the best way we can. And I'm all about therapy, and I think that talk therapy is really healthy. And I think that if somebody is having substance use issues, that they should find a therapist that they can see quite a bit. I did go to AA for 4 years, so I wasn't into the whole God thing. I was never my thing. And I have a lot of criticisms of the program. However, it worked for me. I was sober for 4 years. And now you see, I'm not a typical member of AA. Well, furthermore, first of all, I don't go anymore, but in that I don't consider myself an alcoholic anymore. Like, I don't think that I have a drinking problem anymore. So, I mean, I'll have a drink a couple times a month, but it's not like it was back in the day.
Right.
So for me,
well, it sounds like for you, it wasn't so much that there was like you didn't have like the alcoholic's mind.
Okay.
You were in a phase of your life and you got caught in a cycle. And
Probably.
You need something to help you break that cycle. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced that. I've had periods in my life when I drank too much and,
Yeah.
now I don't.
Yeah. And maybe it was, about growing up.
But I didn't do a program. I didn't need a program. I just was like, oh God, I got to cool it.
And once again, I would never say AA isn't going to be a really great program for so many people, because I know a lot of people who have found success in AA. But, I don't know.
All right. Well, cool. Let's move on. This is from Jay, we'll say. Listen to your latest podcast, and you had the discussion on government employees wearing overtly visible religious symbols and how it was a tough call where to draw the line. No easy answers. Well, there is one easy answer: theme park styled mascot outfits. Climb into... So this is like people at the DMV up in Quebec, like I was talking about earlier. Climb into one of these and customers won't be able to tell if you're wearing a hijab, turban, yarmulke, or a 5-pound cross with LED lights. And gosh darn it, it's just more enjoyable experience when essential funds or services are denied by someone who looks like Vault Girl from Fallout games.
That's funny, Jay. I really like that.
Here's an email from Jason. Hi, Frank and Dan. Just finished listening to the hate crimed episode and have my own story of happily happening upon homosexuals at Harmon's. To begin with, I wasn't even aware that Harmon's was a thing until a few years ago. I often stay with my uncle, who happens to be gay, when visiting Salt Lake. When I asked about Whole Foods, he just said, "No, you want to go to Harmon's."
We go to Harmon's.
We go to Harmon's. He was right. That City Creek location is now my favorite grocery store.
It's wonderful.
It's amazing. In a recent visit to said Harmon's, we were waiting at a till with our cart when my wife noticed that way down at the end of the row of a line, way down at the end of a row, a line appeared to be shorter. This triggered some sort of compulsion in her, so we were so we had to go join that line. Just as I was starting to place the stuff from our cart onto the till, I heard someone calling my name. On the other side of the till, bagged groceries in hand, was my MTC companion.
Oh.
And his husband. It had been nearly 25 years since we'd met in the MTC. And now here we are together with our atheist families at Harmon's. I now visit them almost every visit to Salt Lake. Anyway, but I just kind of like that.
I love that
positive
story.
Gay story at Harmon's.
Yes.
Let's not make it all sound horrible, because that store is probably at any given time 15 to 25%
gay. Yeah. Super gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
You can cruise in the fruit section. And it's all the fruit section.
And then a response to the same show, and we were kind of asking ourselves what you could say, right? If somebody walks past you and says, fuck you, faggots, or fucking faggots, whatever the guy said. And my retort was, fuck you, you piece of shit. And I was like, well, that wasn't a great response.
You got him.
I got him so
Super
good.
burn.
So anyway, here's a listener who says, when I get or hear a nasty comment, I simply smile and say, Gesundheit.
I love that.
People don't seem to know how to handle a non-confrontational, non sequitur reply. Anyway, I love that.
Gesundheit.
I thought that was a great response. And I think that's probably the better way to do it. Like, we were trying to come up with nasty insults and whatnot. And that's, again, I think you're kind of stooping a little bit to their level.
Because if you think about it,
I got a good burn in. Right?
Yeah,
like,
because if you think about it, just them calling you a faggot out in public, you already won because they look like an idiot.
That's a great point.
It's true. Yeah, probably to even other people that are homophobic, they still look like an idiot.
Like,
right?
God, you're not supposed to be that overt.
Right?
Just hate them in silence like a normal human being. Like the rest of us. Anyway, we do have some people to thank. The campaign has been, it has been a wonderful
sensation.
Yes, how much people have responded. It's been really, really remarkable. We have 20 new donors this week that we need to thank by name. And so I'm going to...
Can I read a couple too?
Well, I would like you to say thank you after every name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and let's just...
Can I do
I'm
it?
going to say the
Okay.
name. You say thank you.
Okay.
Right? Okay? Eric.
Thank you.
Matt.
Danke.
Jim.
Grazie.
Mr. Granddaddy.
Gracias.
Catherine.
Thank you.
Don't panic.
Thanks.
Bass.
Oh, thank you.
Kristen.
Thank you.
John.
Thanks.
The Heretical Popes.
Thank you so much.
Tracy.
Thank you.
Jack.
Appreciate you.
All right, all those people came in at the $1 an episode level, and that makes them new faithful listeners of the show. We also have 5 new venerable listeners. Andrea.
Thank you so much.
Kirsten.
Thank you.
Mark.
Thank you.
Brooke.
Thank you.
Laura.
Thanks.
Everybody, all those 5 people are giving $2 an episode, which is just truly remarkable. We have 2 new beatified listeners.
Beatified.
They're giving $3 an episode. We have Jake.
Jake, hey, thank you.
Michael.
Michael, thank you.
And we have 1 new Saint Eric, who's giving $5 an episode, which is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
We thank you guys so much, truly from the bottoms of our hearts. We are doing all of this in an effort to get rid of the ads.
Nobody wants the ads, right?
The ads have brought in a little bit of money. It's never been a ton of money, but it's been enough that it was worth it from our perspective. And so by switching to more of a fully listener-supported model, we hope we're giving you guys a better, more enjoyable product that doesn't have interruptions. And so if you can join the campaign, please visit our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the support tab. You'll see a little Patreon banner off to the side. Follow that. Sign up on Patreon if you're interested in going that way. And you select the level at which you give. So, and of course, we do have our top donor, Chris, to thank. And our top donor, I don't know if you know this. This is our Lord and Savior.
I already did that. So, I mean, I crescendoed too early.
Please make some angelical
Do you have a trumpet?
noise.
Do you have a celestial trumpet?
Holy Hannah.
Holy Hannah,
our Lord and Savior. Thank you so much. It's truly amazing. And again, if you'd like to join them, thankgodimatheist.com. Click on the support tab. Chris.
Frank.
Okay, so for this last segment of the show, I thought that maybe having a little wrap-up of Pride Month might be a nice thing. Because, again, we sort of referenced it while doing emails. I had a little run-in at Harmon's not too long ago. There have been some incidents around town. In a city that a lot of our listeners might actually be surprised to hear has a very large gay population. Right. And for the 20 years that I've lived here, I've always felt welcomed and able to be out and open as who I am, both at work and just in my life in general. And I don't really try to hide anything. I just am who I am.
Right.
And I've never felt threatened or anything of the sort. But I think with a lot of the things that have happened, the tearing down of the flag at Lizzie's was one that really hit me. Because it's in kind of a hip neighborhood. And
the tearing down of the pride flag. Right.
There was the Dominion Energy, our local gas company, had a big gay pride flag up that somebody tried to tear down.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And then there's been some assaults that I've heard about, and there was the incident after Pride last year of the gay men being chased by a mob.
Yes.
Into an ice cream parlor
and a yoga studio up at 21st and 21st was harassed several times by some school age students that would come in and say gay is not okay and gay is not okay, and this happened several times, at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, so it kind of has it's brought this to light, and it's made me start to really wonder and start to think about how, I just kind of wanted to pose the question to you as a gay man in 2019 in Trump's America. How do you feel?
It feels scary to me. I feel like it's there's much more. I feel more targeted in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, as a gay man.
Like how so?
Well, I don't even know if I could explain it. It just feels like it feels unsafe.
Here's a good question. Physical displays of affection.
I'm scared.
In public.
Again. I'm scared again when I wasn't. I don't feel like I've ever really been scared, but I'm scared again.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So you, with your boyfriend, you guys have kind of cooled it down. Maybe. Did you ever really hold hands in public?
No, yeah, we would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I would say that I'm more conscious about it right now. I mean, you're always, as a gay man, you're always conscious about it.
Right.
There's always a fear to it.
Right.
Which I think, and I don't mean to be smug or cynical, but I don't think straight people can understand that.
Uh-huh.
And that comes back to what we were talking about earlier, why they don't need a fucking straight pride parade. Because just holding your partner's hand in public isn't something to celebrate. But for queer people and trans people, that is something to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because we get beat up for it.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
That happens by security guards at downtown, at Temple Square, by the LDS security guards. Remember that years ago?
I do, yeah.
It's been more than 10 years ago now, but a couple was walking through Temple Square and they got
Not
tackled.
even Temple Square.
Yeah, you're right. The Main Street Plaza.
They were on the Main Street, yeah.
Which was a street.
Until the church bought it.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. So I do feel like it feels more dangerous. And people that are homophobic and transphobic are more... They feel more emboldened. I think they're more galvanized by the rhetoric and what's going on by Trump and his administration, and it just feels like there's a lot of fervor, a religious fervor that is fueling it as well. And it's scary. And between, I believe it was the summer of 2015 through the end of 2018.
Okay.
So about 2.5 year time period, there were more than 85 trans women that were murdered in the United States. And when the number had hit 53, none of them had been solved. Most of them weren't even being investigated. Oh, so Jesus. that's what's happening in America, now.
Right.
And hate crimes are up.
Yeah.
And
not to
98% of, sorry to interrupt, but 98% of domestic terrorism is from white supremacists and white dudes.
Yeah. Who are emboldened.
Yeah, who are right wing.
Mm-hmm.
That's who is doing the hate speech, the hate crimes.
Yeah.
That's what's that's who's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are just like, I don't know, like, and it, God, you just end up saying it so much, and I hate to belabor the point, but like and I know it was just this weird little liberal bubble that we were all in, but it just felt like progress was almost a given, right? That things are just getting better. How could it
can only get better,
right? How could it possibly slide backwards at this point?
Yeah,
you know, how could we end up feeling less safe, less secure, you know, less comfortable to just live our lives? It's really bizarre. It was a very unexpected thing, and it hurts.
And what
right?
Yeah, and what hurts also to me is that nobody in this administration is even speaking to it. They're not speaking to queer people. They're not speaking to trans people. We don't have a voice. We don't. And, you know, they're also keeping LGBTQ plus as an identifier off of the U.S. Census, this upcoming one. So it's just erasure. They're just trying to erase us as a people. It's cultural genocide.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't, I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. That's why we don't need a fucking straight pride parade.
Right.
Because it takes some courage to be queer and to be trans.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I think we can pretty much leave it right there.
Cool.
Unless you have something else.
No. I like it.
Yeah. So let's digest that one.
Okay.
Right. And let's, I personally would love to hear, I know that we have a lot of queer and trans listeners because we've heard from them in the past, and we'd love to hear from you again. Actually, we'd love to hear your perspective on this. Podcast at thankodI'matheist.com is the email address. 424-666-8442 is the telephone number that you can call. Please find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. There's also the members only lounge that you have to request to join. It as a closed group, but that's what makes it great. You're able to take part in the conversations that happen there, and if anybody that you know that maybe you're not out to as an atheist, if they see that you belong to this, they won't know what it is. It's been designed to kind of
that's cool.
hide that. We don't want to have to live in the shadows, but in order to find support, sometimes you kind of have to go find something that's safe. So that is there. Please join up if that's something you're looking for. Also, you can find us on Twitter and Reddit. TGI Atheist is the handle on both of those. And we, of course, need to thank the incredible hard work of Mackenzie and all the work that she does for us on Facebook. Also, Danny,
when you said incredible, I thought you were going to be talking about me, so I was getting really excited for the compliment.
But a big thanks, of course, goes out to the incredible Chris Levin.
Why did she get an incredible?
For his help today. Thank you, Chris.
No, you're so welcome. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. And of course, there's the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston. Thank you so much for the use of your music. And Chris, thank you once again for coming and helping us out.
Love doing it.
It's always a delight to have you here. And I just love our conversations when you're on the show.
Yeah.
And Dan will be back, not next week, but the following week. And so tune in again next week to hear another guest host, potentially you, Chris.
I hope it's me.
We haven't really worked out the schedule.
Where do I have to put my resume and do you need references? What you need.
Anyway, thanks so much, guys, and please support us on Patreon.
Have the best week.